Alright, let's check. Let's see if we're setting up correctly. At least the first two for sure. X, all the sides are the same, so x, so this would be x squared as the area of the base. Are we okay on that part? Because some, alright. So then I'm working backwards. They tell me the volume is already equals to 396. So I'm taking that, I'm going to substitute in for V. So 396 equals, well, my B is x squared, and what's the height of my prism? It's the 11, the distance between the bases. So now I'm just working backwards. I'm solving for the x, so divide both sides by 11. X squared equals 36, and then x, take the square root, 6 is your x, and that's what they want you to find. So you're definitely going to have to work backwards. Kind of try to see if you can get there. Then here, find the volume of the figure. Well, again, we're using area of the base times the height. So what represents our base on the second example? Yeah, the hexagon. So that means to get to that B, I have to do 1/2 apothem times perimeter. Our apothem, some of you already see the trick or know how to get to that apothem. Yep, 2 root 3. Half the side, root 3. Perimeter of 24. So that means this B really just equals 24 root 3. So now we can substitute into our formula because this is going to be our B. I'm substituting in for that B right there. And the height of the prism, that's the distance between, is the 16. Yeah, so V equals 24 root 3 times 16. The volume is 384, I think, root 3. Yeah, and that was inches cubed. Okay. Now, on example 3, I just need you to understand they're just breaking down these parts. This is your base. This is your lateral face. Meaning, that 5 represents what part of the triangle? The edge. The lateral face is that triangle. So the 5 would be here in the triangle. Are we connecting those corresponding parts? What happens to the side? Because I know this is 6, so this is 6, but what happens here? Bisect. So that's 3. So now what's the height? 4. It's a triple. There's 5, there's 3, this will be 4. So this height is the height of that face, which represents what part? The slant height. So your slant height is 4. To find the surface area of a pyramid, 1/2 the perimeter times the slant height plus your area of your base. So I do want you to do this one. I'm going to check for right or wrong answer. And I want to talk about example 5. So look at this for me real quick. 2 things. One, it's going to require a little spatial reasoning, and it's a multi-step. So they want us to revolve this whole plane, which is a rectangle, around the y-axis. What would that, so basically if I went around like that, right? Went around, what basically am I making? What shape? Because this is describe the solid and find its volume. Yeah, it's going to have to be, now, maybe this, if some of you need this, sorry. Look at this real quick. So think of this. This is an example, sorry. It's going to let me, yeah, there it goes. This is an example of showing a rotation. You're going to get into this a lot in calculus and looking at, so if you You're taking that whole area of that space. Do you see how when you rotate it around the y-axis, you have this missing piece in the middle? Does that make sense? No? Yes? Do I need to show it again? If you rotate, it's confusing. The piece in the middle? The circle. See if I rotate a triangle, see what shape it makes? Because my plane that I'm rotating is away from the axis, it's not on the axis. Yeah, so that little piece is coming out, right? So basically our cylinder that we have has another little cylinder in the interior. Does that make sense? Are we okay on that part? All right, so how would I find the total volume though? What would that, how do we get to this volume? What are you gonna have to do? Find the volume of both, yeah, and subtract the smaller one out. Does that make sense? So we're gonna have to take the volume of the large cylinder minus the volume of the small one. You are going to be expected to identify what shape is created by rotating around the y-axis or the x-axis or a given line. You're definitely going to see something like this on your assessment. Yeah. No, I could do a triangle. That's why I was trying to show you that other one. I could rotate a triangle. I could rotate. It's going to be a basic shape that we rotate that will make a three-dimensional shape. Okay? Because I'm going around the y-axis, so this whole plane is going around, and it's not touching on the y-axis. It's staying. If you look, what's the radius? Like, what's the distance to that? Yeah, that's one right there, right? And if I was looking at the distance for, or the radius for the whole cylinder, what would that be? Because of the whole cylinder. With the center, yeah, with the small included. It's 3. 1, 2, 3. It's 3. That's the whole, like the large cylinder, the whole cylinder, with the little piece inside. Okay. So you need to be able to recognize, all right, pick out the radius from that rotation. So to find the volume of a cylinder, it's the same thing. It's going to be base times height. Okay. But what's the shape of our base? A circle. So our bases are circle, so that means that's pi r squared. Yeah, so it's pi r squared times the height. So pi r squared times the height minus the smaller pi r squared times the height minus the smaller cylinder, right? The height of our cylinder. What was the height of the plane? Yeah, it's right here. Okay. So our height of our cylinder is 4 units. Okay. So let's keep your. So that means leave pi in your answer. Let's see what our large cylinder would be. Calculate that area. That volume. The large cylinder. We already have the radius. What's our radius? 3. Okay. So large cylinder in terms of pi. Pi 9, 4. Okay, which becomes 36 pi. Okay, good. All right. Small cylinder in terms of pi. Total answer. Yeah, your final answer. Because we should have our small cylinder 1 times 4 pi. So this was 4 pi. Final answer 32 pi. U cube, units cube. Yeah, we need on number 4. On the last slide on your notes, the formulas, your formula for your cone, the lateral area, is pi RL. So, what does the R represent? The radius. What's the L represent? The slant height. Okay, so if I look here, here's my radius. My slant height is the 15. Okay. So I'm going to use that. We know that the lateral area is 180 to find the radius. So I'm going to plug in the 180 pi here, pi times the radius, and then use the 15 to find the radius. Because I'm going to divide by basically 15 pi. When you do that, the pi's cancel out. So really I'm just 180 divided by 15. What's our radius going to equal? So part of your warm-up will be me that your examples are done. You have the right answer. The homework you picked up will be part of your check on Friday. Homework check quiz on Friday.